Hello, I'm Jay, and I'm a transgender male, and this is my second video, and I'm recording about my third week on T. Um, I've already done one video if you got a chance to see it, but anyway, the way I'm going to organize this one is that I'm going to go over the effects of T and first, and then afterwards I'm going to give some other information. 3 weeks on tea is not a very long time, and being on the compounded cream, I'm not sure if it's slower, but it's not very fast in any case, and there hasn't been too many visible effects. The one thing that I've really noticed this week is I'm getting stronger along my deltoids and my whatever, the back and neck. My cat's coming to visit me. Anyway, and my back and is really a lot, and shoulders are stronger. Um, I have one shirt, a couple of shirts that are getting a little bit tight in the under the arms and then the shoulders and stuff. And I'm hoping maybe this is a good sign because it's really hard to find small shirts for men. So anyway, I would be very happy if I could wear mediums without looking like they're huge. Anyway, I was able to do one regular push-up. I know this sounds silly, but I'm just sort of keeping track of this, and one is not very much, but I can go all the way up and all way down in, the regular male kind of position to do a push-up. I haven't been able to do one of those in 20 years, so I was very happy that I'm strong enough to do that. I continue to have oily skin and oily hair. Fortunately, no zits yet. I'm going to cross my fingers on that one. I continue to have a kind of a tight throat, and I don't think I mentioned this in my last video, but I am hungry a lot, but I'm kind of controlling it. I'm not eating it every time I feel like it. And I continue to be pretty happy and high energy. This is nice. I'm going to switch gears now and talk a little bit about how I figured out I was trans. I told you that I figured out this past year, and why would it take me so long? Well, I'm not going to say why it took me so long, but I'm going to tell you kind of how my journey, how I got here, in very few minutes, hopefully. I told you about the Girl Scout who's a trans Girl Scout, and she tried to get into the troop, and the National Girl Scouts allowed her to do that, and that was very interesting to me. I started reading about that. I started watching transition videos. This was about March 2013, a year ago. At some point, that maybe the next month or so, I realized that did not connect to either gender. Especially I did not connect with being a female. I decided that the term genderqueer or androgyne or non-binary really applied. I kind of liked genderqueer because I thought maybe I was the only person my age who ever used the word in a sentence. So I was kind of proud about that. So I used the word genderqueer. I found something called Genderqueer Chats on YouTube, and it's a collab channel. Very good if that's how you identify. I think you'd enjoy that channel. Anyway, I started in April. I also started participating in some online forums, and two of them, Susan's and Laura's Playground. I really am not really doing Laura's Playground because it's so censored. But anyway, and at that point, I started, at some point along there, I started emailing a person who is, at the time, identified as genderqueer, but now identifies as MTF, male to female transgender. So when I knew her, she identified as male or genderqueer. Um, the first things I did, I became very anxious, very, very anxious when I found out about this. I didn't know anything about it. I think that it was a feeling of the unknown, and I was extremely anxious. I started presenting more male. I got a shorter, my hair was a little bit like, it wasn't really long, it was short, but it was a girl kind of short hair. I got more of a boy cut. I wouldn't say it was male completely. I started going by my initials, JJ, and I started wearing some more male clothes. In May, I found out there was a pretty awesome trans center in my community. I started going there, talking to people, and eventually going to support groups. I continue to go to support groups. I go to 2 of them regularly. There's a sort of a mixed group, and then there's a transmasculine group, which I kind of enjoy more. In about April or May, I think it was probably by May, I started wanting to see a counselor. I was referred to a counselor, and he's been wonderful. He's a trans guy, which has been, I thought at the time, I was a little worried he would pressure me one way or the other. He never has. He completely respected where I was, so that seemed to work really well. I continue to just keep experimenting, I guess going more into male presentation and so forth. And I think around May or so, I started becoming uncomfortable with being ma'amed. I call it ma'amed, ma'amed this and ma'amed that. I don't think I was really super upset about it, but it bothered me. In August, I started back to work. I am a teacher, so that's why I was out in July and August, June and July rather. I really thought about how I was going to go back to work. Everything didn't turn out exactly what I wanted. I couldn't figure out what the kids were going to call me. They still call me Miss, and they continue to call me Miss. It's something at the time I was fairly okay with. I sort of decoupled my Miss at work for my Miss, for actually what I would be in the rest of my life, and I was able to handle it. I was called JJ. I wore and still am, and wear male clothes. In September, I started telling people that I was FTM light. By that I mean I didn't really identify completely as FTM, but I was more male on the spectrum and felt more male. My anxiety decreased a lot at that point. It seemed like the more male that I appeared and that presented and considered myself, the less anxious I was. Sometime in the winter, I feel that I decided that I I felt that I was no longer FTM light, and that I presented as, and that I was FTM, a guy, and I don't use the word man too much. Of course, I never use the word woman, so, you know. I think my therapist was maybe even a little disappointed. He said, "Can I use the word FTM light if I ever want to?" And I said, "Sure, sure, go ahead." Anyway, I got it. In December, I got an appointment way out for tea in March or something. Turned out I got an appointment in February. Okay, well, the question is, did I know sooner? Well, it turns out that when I was 7, I came to my mother and I said, "Mom, call me Billy. Don't call me that other name. And I'm not a boy. I'm not a girl. I'm a boy." So I don't know. So it seems like my brain was much smarter than I am. Okay. Well, anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And thank you very much for watching all 11 and a half minutes of this, or however many it's going to be. And I'll see you next time.